Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Friday's live Q&A to fight fibromyalgia, green and clean, pharmaceutical free. I'm Green Irene, and I've got a slew of questions here today to answer for you, which is both exciting and confirming that, yeah, a lot of people do have questions directly related to fibromyalgia, fighting it pharmaceutical free, because let's face it, those pharmas, although they are great in the moment, they are going to cause us harm long term. There are a lot of side effects. We are biological creatures, and a lot of us don't want to live in a pharmaceutical haze. Am I right? Okay, so that being said, yes, I fight fibromyalgia green and clean. I have been pharmaceutical free now. Somebody asked, I have been pharmaceutical free for 9 years this June, which is absolutely amazing to me, because my life prior to being pharma free wasn't exactly the nicest, to say the least. So again, I have a lot of questions here for you guys, from you guys, and I want to get at them right away. So I'm just going to start right away, okay? I hope that's cool with everybody. Oh, first, let me get to my comment section so that I can see. Hello, Jess. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, Marie and Lisa. That's awesome. Excellent. Okay, so one of the first questions that I really want to address, besides the fact, how long have I been pharma-free? I have been pharmaceutical-free for 9 years this June that just passed. So yes, that's pretty amazing, considering I was on 93 pills a day, 2 injections, and a fentanyl patch. My life was nothing more than a husk of a human being, and I took my life back. I took back the quality of my life. I took my happiness back. All of this was being held hostage by the dis-ease of fibromyalgia. And the pharmaceuticals, although they helped with certain aspects, they didn't stay. They created more problems, as you probably already know. So one of the first questions I want to address today is, what can I do to help myself? Well, Lisa, definitely sign up to fightfibro.ca if you haven't already, but I know that you have. Be sure to get into some of the support groups. NIH has a wonderful support group that can help you answer questions related to the pharmaceuticals you're on. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a medical doctor. Therefore, I don't want to address them, with the exception of commenting from my own experience. Okay, so what can I do to help myself, says Lisa? Well, there's a lot of different things that you can do to minimize the pain. There's a lot of different things that you can do to conserve energy. Anyone who follows me knows that I use 3 primary methods or tools, and the techniques of those tools to fight flare-ups, as well as manage the dis-ease and keep it under control. So I use cannabis. I use cannabis in a multitude of ways. So different methods of consumption. I use cannabis topically. I inhale cannabis either through combustion or vaping. I also use neurolinguistic programming, which is a way of talking to our own brains to achieve the things we want to achieve instead of doing the same things again and again and not getting different results. So learning how to train your brain and reprogram your brain is absolutely essential, and using NLP for that, combined with the techniques of hypnosis, whether you're working with a hypnotherapist such as myself, or you're doing your own self-hypnosis using something like YouTube or some of the tracks I put out or some of the tracks others put out, that will help tremendously, because how our brains perceive pain has a lot to do with the amount of pain that we are actually in when it's chronic. There's two different types of pain. There's acute pain, and then there is chronic pain. Now, acute pain is very generalized. You stub your toe, you bang your knee, it hurts in that specific location, and there is a reason for it. Chances are that pain will diminish and go away. With chronic pain, however, that pain is consistent and it is every day. We wake up and our muscles are sore, our elbows hurt, our knees ache, our bodies don't want to stretch. We are exhausted from being exhausted. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So using cannabis topically, I use it as a cream or a lotion. I use something like, I have all this here. I can't wait to show you. Because you know what? I'm going to be giving away a prize package very soon. So this is one of the creams that I make. Okay, and it's really easy. I have recipes on my website at greenirene.ca as well as fightfibro.ca. I'm not sure exactly where you'll find them in the website. I'm a one-woman show, so I can only get so much out at a time. And yeah, you'll have to dig around for it. But I do put a recipe for my topical cream. I also create an infused bath salts. Okay, and that infused bath salts really, really helps at the end of the day to relax. Hello, hello, hello. You've been Pharma-free for 7 years. You know what? I'm going to get to the comments shortly. Let me finish my spiel. This is fabulous. This is fantastic. So yes, so I will use Pure Bud. Okay. One of my favorite strains is Purple Project. I think it's going to be the medical marvel for fibro fighters. I find it has just enough zing to reduce the inflammation and the pain, as well as provide that necessary relaxation and calming of the mind without giving me a hazy crazy. Okay, I hope that made sense. So I use Bud, I use infused creams, I use bath infusions, I use a topical spray that is some of that deep tissue ache, especially during seasonal changes, the inflammation. You may not see the inflammation, but you can certainly feel it internally. And absolutely using this spray in particular that I make, and it's just an cannabis infused alcohol spray tincture. Spraying that on, it seems to get a little bit deeper, reach those deeper muscle tissues, and then applying a cream right afterwards. Again, cannabis infused, you will not get high. The THC is hydrophobic, for lack of a better term, so it will not penetrate the blood-brain barrier. It will not make it through the fatty tissue. It will not make it through the adipose tissue. It will not get into the blood or into the bloodstream, which means it will not make it to the brain, which means you cannot get high from a topical solution that is cream-based or alcohol tincture, that sort of thing, okay? But let me add to that, because you do ask, yes, there is a derma patch. So it is it transdermal? I think it's called transdermal. So kind of like a fentanyl patch, except the little cup holds a glycerin in it, transdermal gel that is infused with cannabinoids, THC in particular, and CBD, that when it's applied to the skin topically, because of that transdermal gel, it will penetrate and make it to the bloodstream. Just so you're aware, it's a little bit, even though it's applied topically, it will still get into your bloodstream. That's the transdermal patches. an entirely different concept than what the cream or the alcohol-based infusion is. So the tincture and the cream and the bath salts are my favorite way to combat weather changes, seasonal changes. When we go from spring to summer and all of a sudden we get that hot blast, that's a lot for my body to absorb and to rationalize or logic. And it's that way for a lot of fibro fighters. Going from summer to fall or winter, sudden changes in temperature. You know, we have a 30-degree temperature today, Celsius today, and then tomorrow we're down to 20. That's a lot of change. And yeah, the body just doesn't respond as quickly. We have I tell everybody my internal thermostat is broken. It just doesn't work that quickly. Okay, so cannabis is one way, Lisa, that you can use to help yourself. If you are a consumer of cannabis or you're not opposed to consuming cannabis through inhalation, ingestion, or inhalation or ingestion, because I already covered topical, right? All right, so if you're not opposed to using cannabis as through inhalation, either with a vaporizer or through combustion, of a joint or something like that, where you're sparking it up. If you're not opposed to that, there are some strains that are very, very effective for because we all have different body types. What works for me may not work as effectively for you. That doesn't mean it won't work. So some strains that I will tell you to try and get a hold of. Granddaddy Purple is absolutely one. Chemdog is another. Harlequin is a fantastic strain, though very difficult to get in the north. And it is primarily CBD. It's a higher CBD strain, as well as Cannatonic. So those are the ones that you can get here in Canada or in northern US pretty easily through any of the licensed producers. And lots of people are growing right now. Thankfully, I think it's so wonderful that everybody's growing their own. Grow your own. It's good for the mind, body, soul. And you know what? What's better than using growing your own food and medicine, right? So now I named off a couple of strains, Granddaddy Purple and Chemdog being the first two that I named off. Those two are the parents of Purple Project. So yes, Purple Project is an amazing strain. And if you can find it, definitely give it a try. Now, I recommend vaping it at about 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, maximum 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep in mind that THC will burn off the plant when you combust. We lose approximately 43% of the THC and CBD through combustion because THC is released from the plant at approximately 347 degrees Fahrenheit. Needless to say, that flame is a hell of a lot hotter, right? So we do flash evaporate a lot, which is why combustion of cannabis is the most ineffective and wasteful way to use cannabis. But there's lots of us diehards who love the ceremony of sparking it up. So again, if you're going to be vaping, vape Purple Project somewhere between 350 and 400 degrees. I like 386. That's usually what my vaporizer is set at. And it seems to work. All the other cannabinoids are released from the plant in or around 3 to 5 degrees of THC. All the ones that we're aware of, or that I'm aware of, I should say, like CBG, cannabigerol, cannabichromine, which is fantastic, has amazing healing qualities. So these are the ways in which we have acidic critical mass and Halley's Comet. There you go, right? Halley's Comet, absolutely amazing. I'm not familiar with critical mass, though I have one of my patients or one of my clients who is a fibro client actually grew critical mass. So that's good to know. Now, you asked, okay, in addition to that, so there's how you can use cannabis. And that's just a really light glossing of the different ways. You can use it by soaking in it. You're not going to get high, but it is going to give your body the relief. You can use a topical cream after a workout or before a stretch workout. And yes, I'm going to get to the workout. You can use the tincture as a topical. You can also use it sublingually, but you will get high if you use it sublingually. Okay. Covered the cannabis. Neuro-linguistic programming, how that works. The way pain works in our brain or is registered in our brains like to find the quickest, easiest route to perform tasks. So as soon as you learn to walk, that if you lifted with your left foot first and then put your right foot behind, you would fall down. Your brain registered that and said, from this point forward, we put our right foot first and then our left foot, and then we're walking, and soon we'll be walking along. Your brain stopped thinking about how to walk after it figured out how to do it. It just automatically does it. It's like driving a car. When you got into the car, initially you held the steering wheel both hands. You thought of all the things that you had to think of until you became comfortable with it. Now you've learned, you're on autopilot. Yes, of course you're paying attention, but we are on autopilot to a great degree. Your brain does the same thing with pain. It starts to register the pain, and what ends up happening is, and I don't know if any of you have experienced it, but notice how people say, how are you feeling today? What are your pain levels at today? I stopped asking myself that question when I wake up. I wake up and say, oh, what can I stretch with ease today? Because that makes a difference. It's resetting that mindset. Our attitudes have so much to do with how pain is manifesting throughout the day. Recognizing that, yes, your body is at war. Your autoimmune is under attack from itself, from your own brain. Learning to recognize the pain, where it is in your body, and is it new? Is it familiar? And what are some of the things we can do about that? So retraining your brain to recognize, hey, you still liver? I'm not sure. I'll come back to the comments. The point is, our brain learns to register pain in a different way. And so when we've been dealing with chronic pain over and over and over again, our brain automatically wakes up, and instead of checking to see if we have pain going on or inflammation going on, it just automatically makes that assumption and sends the program out to deal with chronic pain. So we are dealing all day as though we have chronic pain, when in reality, we don't. Learning to different techniques like mapping over, recognizing pain, adding color to it, using self-hypnosis techniques to reduce that color or turn down the volume of pain or whatever it is that's coming from a chronic flare-up. Absolutely essential tools to have in your box of techniques for dealing with fibromyalgia. So that's basically how hypnosis and NLP work in conjunction with dealing with chronic pain. Okay. Sorry, guys, I just have to make a motion over here, because if I don't, it's going to get out of control. 2 seconds. Problem solved. Sorry, my printer was going off and it's out of paper. I am live. Yes, I am live. So there are a multitude of ways. Now, those are just some of the tools and techniques that I use. NLP for mapping over, changing how my brain is registering pain or how it wants to respond or react to pain, and using hypnosis to install those new programs so that they run easily and effortlessly. Cannabis is a great tool for reducing inflammation. It also helps calm the mind and the body enough to allow hypnosis to happen quickly and easily and effortlessly. Meditation is absolutely essential if you are a chronic anything sufferer. If you are chronic pain, chronic fibromyalgia, chronic, you're an insomniac, or you're chronic fatigue, anything. Meditation is the most wonderful tool, and the better you get at, the more you practice it, the better you become at it, and the better you become at it, the more you want to practice it, and the easier it is. So I can do a 7-minute meditation, for example, that feels to me like I just took a 4-hour nap. That didn't happen overnight. I practice with meditation. I do mindful meditation. I do transient meditation. I do transformative meditation. I do different types. I do a visual relaxation. A full body scan is what I recommend for most people that are dealing with chronic whatever. And that's beginning with at the top of your head and working your way down, releasing each and every muscle, tensing it up, then letting it relax, then recognizing the muscles in your jaw, tensing them up and letting them relax, the muscles in your neck, the muscles we don't necessarily think of, like the ones behind our ears, the muscles behind our arms. And I do that whole meditation as I go through my whole body. And in doing that body scan, it gives me enough time to defocus or deconstruct whatever program was about to run with respect to pain or aggravation or a flare-up or sensory overload or. Okay, so meditation is absolutely essential. Also, some of the things you can really do to help yourself: pay attention to your diet. Diet is number one on the scale. There are a lot of foods you will find once you start keeping track. There are a lot of foods that will trigger a flare-up. And by that, I mean, it may not create the flare-up, but it starts the ball rolling. It starts that programming running in your mind. So some of the foods to stay away from: caffeine is one of them. There are a lot of alternative sources. One of the ones I found, because I am a coffee junkie, I love my caffeine. Yes, I am an addict for sure. But one of the things that is a great replacement is roasted dandelion roots. I know I wouldn't have believed it had I not been told, but yes, roasted dandelion roots make for an excellent coffee replacement. And it's so tasty. There's also things like cowboy coffee. Hello. Cowboy coffee, which is mullein. So there are a lot of alternatives to the coffee bean, okay? Because remember, caffeine is an energy thief. It's like a lone shark, okay? It'll give you a little bit now, but it's taken a whole lot back. And by the age of 50, it is leaching the calcium out of our bones. Every coffee we have leaches calcium from your skeletal system. Keep that in mind. That's not so easy to replace after the age of 50. So very important, if you can, to replace your coffee with a substitute. Diet, right? Diet. Focus on your diet. Eat whole foods. Stay away from the chemical crap shitstorms that is in the packaging on the shelves at the grocery store. Those chemical substitutes are building up in your body and causing you part of your problem. Me and several other researchers believe that chemical sensitivity has a large part to do with how much fibromyalgia actually affects you as a patient. So it's something to consider. Having a rigid sleep schedule is something most of the doctors will tell you. It's not easy, and I'm not going to pretend that it is, but having a routine really helps you to get or maintain a sleep schedule. Okay, so that's something to consider. So diet, sleep, using cannabis as an aid, and what NLP, of course, and hypnosis. What am I missing? Diet. Oh, exercise. Oh my gosh. Use them or lose them, and your body is going to ache. Have you ever been forced? If you were ever forced to stay in the same spot for a great length of time, you will learn that your body stiffens up, and the more it stiffens up, the more pain you're going to feel. And the more pain you're going to feel, the more your brain is going to register that you're feeling pain, and the less you're going to want to do. The less you want to do, the more you're going to stiffen up. You see this horrible cycle. Okay, work with me on this. It hurts like hell some days to move and to stretch, but you know what? You have to. You really genuinely have to, for a whole lot of reasons that I'm not going to spend 30 minutes getting into, but you will find that information on the website at fightfibro.ca. The point is, your stretching routines, every morning you should stretch at least 5 minutes. If you can do 15, fantastic, but stretch for 5, and stretch at noon for 5, and stretch after supper for 5, and maybe even stretch for 5 before bed if you can. Again, if you can do a 10-minute stretch, that's 30 minutes of stretching in a day. There are different things that you can do throughout the day if you don't have time for that routine. When you're standing at the sink doing dishes, let's say, nobody likes to do dishes and nobody likes to exercise. So why not get them both done at the same time? While you're there, you can lift up on your toes and back down on your heels. Lift up one, lift up the other. Stretch those muscles, tense them, and relax them. Tense them and relax them. Do the same with your arms in the morning. Make sure you get a full body. If you are capable, there is a wonderful yoga, rehabilitative yoga routine that I will be posting next week. Be sure to download that sheet. It's fantastic exercises, no matter how sore you are. I've done them from the hospital bed. I've done them from the wheelchair, and I do them now that I'm not in either of those things anymore. But exercise is essential for a whole lot of reasons. Amongst other things, if you are feeling very disabled and you're not able to get up and move around right now, know that the day is going to come that you are going to be able to get up and move around. Wouldn't it be great to have all of your muscles in working condition when you do? I think it would be. Okay, so I'm just saying exercise, diet, exercise, using cannabis, NLP, and hypnosis. Those are the methods that I know that work 100% for me. Yes, I have fibro flares. Yes, I have triggers. Yes, I have some really shitty days, but I have not been put in the hospital again. I have not had to touch pharmaceuticals. So all of this makes a huge difference in my life, and I know it can in yours as well. Using cannabis effectively, use properly, medicinally, therapeutically. There are ways to structure this so that you can build your own strategy. These are all ways and things that you can do to help yourself. Okay. I'm going to actually scroll through the questions for a quick minute through our comments, and then I'm going to answer one more question, and then I'm going to tell you about that contest. Okay, give me 2 seconds here, guys. Let's just see. Yes. Oh, awesome. Hi, guys. 7 years pharmaceutical after 25 years. You know what? Congratulations. I went 10 years. I've been Pharma-free now for 9. And yeah, you know, some days are still a struggle because I remember the relief that I could get from, you know, this particular pharma or that particular pharma. And I knew the relief that it would give me, and it would be so easy, right? But don't do it, because there you go. Oh yeah. Hi. Oh, Ginger, you made it. Hello, Ginger. Sitting in the hair chair. Okay. Yay. Okay. That's awesome. Shared. Oh, thank you very kindly. Yes. If you don't mind sharing these videos, I really do appreciate the support. Yes, I am still live. I'm not sure who all these people are talking to me, because sometimes it shows up Facebook user, YouTube user, and YouTube. I'm out on a few different channels, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to say hi to everybody. I'm going to come back to one of these questions that why do some doctors, my mom's and mine, think that it's all in my head? Well, okay. That's a little bit tougher of a question. Doctors cannot see, and they may not understand the source of your pain or the fatigue that you're experiencing. But what they do observe is the anxiety and the frustration that you're expressing over what you're dealing with. I'm hoping I was clear about that. So because you're dealing with these symptoms around the clock, you have significant frustration, I'm sure, and a lot of anxiety over it too, because we all fear the unknown. We all fear the unknown. The better we understand something, the less likely we are to be afraid of it. So with your frustration and your anxiety, this is what the doctor's watching. Now, keep in mind that your doctor also sees probably at least 10, 20 other patients in the same day that he sees you. He may see you and when I say he, it could be she too. He or she is probably seeing you about every 4 to 6 weeks on average. You're a face in a crowd of faces, and he's only getting those 10 to 20 seconds of what you deliver. So this bothers me, that bothers me, that bothers me, and I can't take this anymore, right? Okay, so this is what your doctor's saying, and he's going, whoa, 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 this is in your head, you got to stop, because physically this is what's showing up on the tests. Your doctor is not right, nor is he wrong, okay? There is a lot going on in our mind, and that's what I was talking about earlier about the NLP. How our brain processes pain, it matters. Okay, so when we find that we're running the same routines again and again and again and again, our brain remembers that the last time this was very serious and I had to do this, that, and the other thing to resolve it. Using NLP techniques and hypnosis, we can actually go in and recognize what the pain is, where the pain is, acknowledge it, and say, okay, but you know what? I don't need you today. You need to go away. And we can actually eliminate a large part of the program that runs from chronic pain. And we do that all with our mind. So in your doctor saying that it's in your head, I'd hate for him to say you're making it up, although I know that that's probably what it feels like he or she is saying. I can assure you that that is not what he or she is saying. They're saying how you are dealing with this is controllable by your mind. So, and I want to point something out. There are a lot of patients with fibromyalgia patients who have experienced emotional, physical, financial, or mental trauma, or any combination thereof, traumatic experiences, car accidents, falls downstairs, abusive relationships, negative feedback. There's been some form of trauma in most fibromyalgia sufferers. That being said, sometimes getting to the root of those emotional traumas can help alleviate a large percentage of the symptoms or our reaction to those symptoms. I can remember a time where I was terrified to have a bowel movement because all I could remember was that last bowel movement. That was absolutely horrible. And it was crippling and I thought I would die and, right? So learning that that is not the experience each and every time, not being afraid, learning to retrain our brain, using hypnosis to retrain our brain really helps eliminate a lot of the bogus crap that our brain is going to try and do in an effort to make things more efficient for us. Okay? Acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your weaknesses, and recognize that you have tools and techniques and amazing skills. The body, the human body, is absolutely phenomenal at healing and recovering. So give it an opportunity to, and you can use your mind to do that. Let's just see. We got to, yeah. Okay. And okay, I made a note here. If you find you're not getting anywhere with your doctor, though, and this does happen, some doctors are just narrow-minded. They have very skewed perceptions, and we don't have quality rapport with those doctors. In other words, good communication. So we feel like our words and our ailments and our frustrations are falling on deaf ears, and those deaf ears are feeling like we're blah, 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 blah. That being said, I realize it's hard, but you should consider finding a new doctor. Okay. Let's just see. Cherokee. I don't know where that came from, Robert, but thank you for sharing. The doctor cut you off of pain meds for 30 years. Cut me of pain. Sorry, I don't quite understand. I have several questions coming through here. Somebody's telling me you've been off pain. I'm not sure if you're off pain meds for 35 years or if you just went off pain meds after 35 years. Either way, what I'm going to say is if you are away from those pain pharmaceuticals, you are doing much better already. Your body, our bodies will heal themselves, and the damage that's been done from these chemical shitstorms, your body now has an opportunity to heal. Using cannabis raw and eating cannabis will make a tremendous difference. Our natural, we have, like our immune system, like our central nervous system, we have another system known as the endocannabinoid system that works like a lock and key with cannabis and the cannabinoids that are gleaned from the cannabis plant. Using cannabis raw will not get you high. You cannot get high from raw cannabis. The THC is still in its acidic form, which is how it's produced in the plant. And it's not until we actually activate that through drying, curing, and or heating or freezing before we can knock off that carboxyl acid off of the THC molecule. So it's actually THCA. But that being said, raw cannabis has all of the essential nutrients that are required by our bodies to do what our bodies are meant to do. It has all of the essential nutrients, the mineral acids, the fatty acids, everything we need is in that cannabis plant. So juicing raw cannabis not only will make a tremendous difference in your digestive tract, it will help balance and stabilize everything. So I hope I answered that question. After 35 years. Yeah, and I bet you those withdrawals were probably a nightmare. I know when I went off mine, when I went off all of the pharmaceuticals, I did it all at once, which was a really scary adventure. I went through detox that for 9 days that, yeah, I can't even begin to describe. One more question, and then I'm out of here. Then I got to share that. One more question. Is there a cure? No, not yet. Scientists and researchers, doctors, they just haven't found a cure yet. Sorry, but you can manage it. It does not have to control your life, and you don't have to let it hold your happiness hostage. Now you can take it back, and you can do it with a smile on your face, and it's lovely, and it's wonderful, and it's great. So I've answered a couple of questions today. Probably talked a little bit too much about one or the other, and I do apologize if I blather on. Again, talking to me through the chat really, really helps. And hopefully I can get to a couple more questions next week. Let me tell you about that contest. Okay. So what I'm asking, I will be drawing on next Friday's show. I will draw a name from my subscriber list to receive one of the sample care packs to fight fibro. So this is going to come to you. It's just a nice little kit, and it's just a sample care kit that has a couple of the things I use to fight fibromyalgia, green and clean. Okay, inside this little package, you will find everything I talked about earlier, of course, right? So I need you to subscribe at fightfibro.ca. Make sure your name is on my list, okay? Fightfibro.ca. I'm pretty sure in the comments it's there. So inside of that package, the winner will receive, of course, this package, and it has everything in it. You will get, this is a 1/4 cup of bath salts. So it's good for a foot soak or a small bath, a short bath. Fully infused, pour it in your bath water, lay down, relax. Do a meditation if you can. Find a spot on the wall. Focus on that spot until your vision is out of focus. And when your vision is out of focus, I want you to travel inside of your body and find those areas of pain. Add color to those areas of pain. If it's in your knee and you want your knees to be yellow, well, then that's where the yellow pain is. And then what I want you to do while you're relaxing and while you're soaking, I want you to imagine that color getting lighter and fading until you've drained that pain area of all of its color. And it's nothing more than just a faint glow of gray maybe. And then you can let it evaporate. When you get out of the tub, also in your package is going to be one of the cannabis-infused coconut oil creams. And yes, you can apply that immediately afterwards. And just because I think everybody should try a tincture, I'm also including a tincture. This, if you spray it under your tongue, you will get high. If you spray that in your mouth, not just that, but the alcohol is a high-grain alcohol. It will sting like a mother's SOB and then some. You will say words you have never said before in your life, so I don't recommend ingesting, okay? This is for topical use. This is in your bag. The cream is in your bag. Again, topical use. Yes, you could cook with this. You will get high if you do, because you will activate those that's active cannabinoids, and you will be ingesting. And the bath salts, definitely topical. They're for a soak. So these 3 lovely little items in your package. Fight Fibro, nice little carry case to carry along. Has my website, a little bit of my advertising, and I will ship that off to you. Next Friday, be sure to sign up as a subscriber at fightfibro.ca. Next Friday, I will be pulling a name of one of our subscribers. Okay, and then I will be sending that off to you. On that note, I am going to sign off now. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today. I very much appreciate it. Keep those amazing questions coming my way. They are fantastic questions. I enjoy answering them each week. I will be back on Monday on greenirene.ca with an article post, a blog post specifically about meditation. On Wednesday, I will be on Green Irene's THC group page on Facebook. Talking about what's new for Toka too. And then I will be back on Thursday. There will be a new blog post on fightfibro.ca. They come out every Thursday. And on Friday, of course, I will be here to answer all of your questions. On that note, everybody, peace out. Take care. Be happy. Stay strong. Keep lit. Ciao for now.